one super crazy story that I think we could have some unique opinions on was they had another giant protest and riots and shit in University of Cal Berkeley this past weekend. And I don't know if you've been paying attention, like, to our listeners.
Yeah.
I know Brandon has. But if you haven't been paying attention, this all started earlier this year when, right-wing, one of the leaders out there, Milo Yiannopoulos, a guy that basically is anti-everything that normally liberals stand for. Like, he's gay, he's Jewish, so it's tough. They can't go after him with, like, their identity politics. And they tried to shut him down. Like, he was going to give a speech there, and a whole bunch of these people, they call themselves Antifa, anti-fascists, and they just had a huge violent demonstration. Riots broke out. People got pepper sprayed. A lot of people getting punched in the face and beat up and shit, and throwing Molotov cocktails and stuff. And they got the speech shut down, and they celebrated it everywhere. And then there was another, like, protest or something on March 4th, and that had a lot of violence. And then this time they had another demonstration, this time from, like, free speech advocates, and the Antifa people showed up, and I think the free speech guys had enough, and they just beat the fuck out of them. I mean, just absolute ass kicking. Now, I'm not going to say that I am totally on the side of the free speech people, because, I mean, a lot of those guys represent like really hard right-wing alt-right stuff that doesn't really represent me as a person. I'm more of a progressive. But, man, some of those Antifa dudes had it coming. I mean, they're basically these scrawny people with, like, bandito masks on to protect their identities, going around throwing fucking fireworks and smoke bombs and throwing glass bottles and shit at all these people. I mean, what did you expect? Did you really think that you were just going to get away with it forever, that they weren't going to respond? So I want to get your thoughts on this, Brandon, and I'm going to have a lot more to say about it.
Oh, yeah, man, we'll go back and forth on this one. Look, those fucking Antifa people, a lot of those kids don't even know what fascism is. I guarantee they didn't know anything about it until they just basically joined this cult following. That they have no idea what it even represents. They have, they have no idea what the etymology of the fucking term fascism means. They have no clue. And the mainstream media is so liberal that they're basically oversimplifying everything that's happened with these riots when it comes in terms of the Antifa kids. And they, they'll basically hone in on these right-wingers or anybody that's Trump backers, because it's always Trump backers against these guys. And they basically make them out to be the instigators. When in reality, in my personal opinion, these Antifa people are just coming in, starting shit, like causing riots. I saw a pepper spraying a pregnant woman point blank in her eyes. I mean, what they do is they hide behind their, the cloak of immortality when it comes to not being able to be touched, because the media has their back, and it seems like the government's having their back because they were so anti-Trump. So finally, it got to the point where it just boiled over, and they started getting the shit kicked out of them over at Berkeley, recently. And the cops over there in Berkeley are standing there not doing anything now. So basically, these rioters used to have the cops in between them, kind of saving their ass, and they could act tough. Well, now they're forced to be face to face with these people that they've assaulted so many times in the past, and it's not working out well for them, and they're getting their asses kicked. And if you notice, the media is starting to say neo-Nazi, neo-right-wing, pro-Trump, white nationalist people punching Antifa members in the face. That is what you see on CNN and stuff, those kind of headlines, instead of the truth. Yeah, maybe a KKK guy is ingrained in the crowd somewhere and punched somebody, but that doesn't represent the entire community of Trump backers, because I like Trump, and I'm not that. And it's similar to what they say, like, don't put all Muslims into one category. Well, they put all Trump supporters in one category, and that's what the media is doing, and they're causing a lot of the issues that we see today. So that's just what I got from that. We'll keep going back and forth on this one.
I want to bring up one other interesting point is they like when you Google this thing, like you just type in like the protests and shit and riots and violence at Cal Berkeley, everything shows up is woman punched in the face at the riots. Because I mean, there's a video of a chick with dreadlocks getting blasted in the face by like one of the leaders of like the alt-right movement and shit. And that dude that punched her in the face is not a good person. Like he's, you know, somebody that I vehemently disagree with in just about everywhere.
Yeah.
But you know what? This bitch like is playing the victim card. And if you see the shit she was doing and saying before all this, she's out there saying she's going to go, what was it? Let me get the word exactly what she said. She's headed to Berkeley to disrupt the neo-Nazi white supremacist jerk circle today. Determined to bring back 100 scalps, 100 Nazi scalps. Fuck this bitch. Like they've got a hilarious meme out about her already. They're calling her Moldy Locks. And she's out there playing the victim, and she was throwing glass bottles at people. She was trying to start shit, and then she got blasted in the face, and now she's just like, oh, boo-hoo, I'm just a widow girl. I didn't do nothing wrong. You know what? If you're going to throw glass bottles and you're going to bring back 100 scalps and you're starting shit, you're going to get blasted in the face, and you probably deserve it. So fuck that chick.
You want to hear what my thoughts on that particular issue is?
All right.
A lot of women, there's a lot of, especially the women that are in these kind of movements, they are so pro-women getting equal rights, and they want everybody to be in the same playing field until they want to fight and start shit and get fucking wrecked. And then they want to play the innocent woman. I'm a woman. You can't hit me. I'm so much weaker than the men. Why are you touching women? Blah, blah, blah. It's like those women that just blast people. Like they'll get in a man's face and punch him in the face 32 times. And then finally the dude just snaps, knocks him the fuck out, and that dude's going to jail. Or that dude gets blasted on the media as being a scumbag. If these people are going to march for all these equal rights and shit, if they're going to act like men counterparts around them, they're going to have to deal with the consequences when that happens. So I'm not about hitting women, but sometimes it's just going to happen. And the thing is, I'm not like a right-wing dude. Like I'm a lot more moderate, but I mean, there's a lot of progressive shit that I totally agree with. But these fucking retards, that's not how you get your message across. Like you think about the most successful protests in history, it's always been the nonviolent ones. Like the people that did the most were, you know, the original women's rights movement to get like the rights to vote. You get the civil rights movement. It was all peaceful opposition. And you got fucking Gandhi. Like all those people, they didn't like throw fucking Molotov cocktails to shut down the people that were speaking out against them. That's just not how it works. Did you know what Antifa was doing? They were throwing sticks and rocks and skateboards at people during this whole thing. Nobody reported that. And no mainstream reported it. And
the thing is, the worst thing of all is when you try to disrupt and prevent people from speaking at universities and all that stuff, and you're celebrating that you're silencing these people and not even letting them speak, those are the tactics of the people you're trying to fight. You know, that's what fascists do. They violently keep their opposition from getting a chance to speak out. You know what I mean?
Oh, God, yeah.
That's not how it works. If you want to, beat someone, you fucking debate them. You fucking smash them with facts and evidence and have better ideas. But you don't just prevent them from speaking. That's not how it works. That's not how America works. And that's what pissing me off is I'm more on the side of these free speech advocates and all these Trump supporters, even though I'm fucking a Bernie dude, because the Antifa guys are such fucking dumb fucks.
Oh, it
makes me sympathetic to them. You know what I mean?
Let me throw out some irony.
Violence, you make the opposite side sympathetic.
And they're going to lose. If they want to take a violent approach, they will lose every time. Mm-hmm. They're on the wrong side of tracks when it comes to that. But you know what I find ironic with these people? They all wanted Hillary, right? That was like their person that they wanted. And what I find hilarious is that their whole premise is anti-fascism, right? Well, fascists believe that democracy is basically should not be existing. Like it's obsolete. And then, so they want everything to be like a totalitarian, like a one-party thing, a one-party state. They want everything to be controlled by a dictator. They want everything to be controlled by the government and, led basically everything militaristic. Everything is basically controlled at the top, and it's a one government party, and it's worldwide, New World Order type shit. Well, that is what Hillary was trying to do. Hillary is a fascist. Hillary wanted a one-party government for the whole entire world, that she wanted everything controlled at the top of the level. And she was saying that it was basically, we're going to give health care to these people, we're doing all this stuff. But no, everything was controlled at the top. She is fascist to the core. They all are. Obama, they all have
all right.
fascist.
They're not fascist. Come on.
Are you shitting me?
I am so sick of people being called fascists that are not fascists. That's not how, like, people exaggerating and stuff.
How was that exaggerating?
You were
That's
just
literally what they wanted.
You know what I mean? You were just bringing up how people calling everybody fascist that never lived through fascism. They don't even know what fascists are. And you're doing the exact same thing. Now you're going to call Hillary and Obama fascists.
How are they not fascist? The definition of fascism is exactly what they wanted to do. They wanted a one-party state. They wanted everybody to be controlled by a one-party state, which the government in total would be the dictator. They weren't. This is not some.
Fascism is an authoritarian and nationalistic system of government and social organization.
No, fascists believe
that is the literal definition.
Okay, I'll give you a literal definition. Fascism believe that liberal democracy is obsolete, and they regard complete mobilization of society under a one totalitarian party state as necessary to prepare the nation for any armed conflict or any conflict economic difficulties.
That's what I'm saying. There's no fascists on either side of this debate. No, there's just people that have extremely different opinions on how things should be. That doesn't mean that there's fascists on either side. Like, I think they're both wrong. They're both too far to each side. Like, I
think that they worship people with fascist ideology. That it's amusing to me that they want to call Trump a fascist when Trump is literally the opposite.
I just think he's dumb.
He may be dumb,
and he's on it, and he's too open. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the politicians, they always were like so protected, like they never really wanted to give away what they were really thinking, and they're always trying to do everything the most politically correct way. And Trump is just out there, just whatever's at the top of his head, he just will let it fly. And I mean, for some that's good, and for some that's bad, but that doesn't make him a fascist. I don't agree with most of the things he says. But you know what I mean?
He's not even close to a fascist. He's not even close to a fascist. Not even
neither side is a fascist.
It's especially Trump. I personally think that Hillary and Obama have fascist qualities to them, and I'm not calling them all out fascist. I'm saying that they have the qualities that describe a fascist government. They have certain qualities. I don't see Trump having any of those qualities at all. So it's ironic to me that they would even be labeling Trump and having this Antifa movement against Trump. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And they have an entire movement that's followed by 270-some thousand people on Facebook alone. It's like those people are just so ignorant, and they just don't know where they come from. They have no idea. They're privileged people that have bought into this idea that they're supposed to feel guilty. But they use their privilege.
I can support you in that department because, I mean, honestly, that the whole Antifa movement is incredibly stupid. It basically is all about silencing your opposition instead of debating them, instead of, conflicting ideas. It's all about just our idea is the idea. You know what I mean? So that actually is, like, basically the whole point of the Antifa movement is being fascist. I will side with that.
Yeah.
But I don't think that Obama and Hillary are out there telling people to do it. I just think there's a bunch of fucking whiny bitches that didn't get their way, and they're just trying to do whatever it takes to fight back, and they're being complete morons about it.
Well, I think the mainstream media, which is controlled, by a lot of leftist policies, that's
true.
That they are pushing this agenda from behind the scenes. It's almost like you can brainwash anybody because the media is where people get their information from. So I think that our nation is more woke up now than ever, and that's why you're having such almost like a civil war type situation.
That the nation's woke up. I think people are just getting deceived left and right. Like everybody has so many biases on both sides that hardly anybody ever gets the full story. So I don't know. It's just really frustrating right now to me.
Yeah, I don't like how we're supposed to have a situation where we're always getting information, but what we have is CNN and we have Fox News literally reporting the exact opposite of each other, and those are supposed to be trusted media sites. Who do you trust?
The media is supposed to be a giant check on the government, and they kind of stopped doing that. They're trying to do it a lot now with Trump, but they weren't they feel like they lost their goal because they were kind of lulled into a sense of sleep with Obama, and now they have to go after Trump because they felt like they caused Trump by giving people a false sense of security and stuff. And that's not how it should work. They should always be checking the government regardless of who's in power. So
they were also too scared to even criticize Obama for fear of certain repercussions. That's what's in the chat. Anybody have anything to say?
Brett said, well, let's see. Steve Major said the Antifas are LARPing revolutionists. He called her Pewbacca Moldylocks. And then Brett Lobb said, I don't always hit women, but when I do, it's fascists. Stay thirsty, my friends.
I don't know, man. So part of me just wants to go down to one of those rallies and just fuck people up.
Well, the really stupid thing is when you see the video violence, there's 4 people fighting, and then there's 50 people taking video of it. That's not a fucking violent rally. That's just a couple people fucking role playing a violent rally. And then everybody else is just trying to record it so that they can go post it on Facebook.
That's society in general. How horrible is that? Every time you see something terrible on Facebook, there's always 50 people surrounding that could have stopped it, but they're too busy cheering it on and they're too busy filming the shit instead of helping people. You get situations where there's a guy that he got some jail time because there's a fatal car accident. Instead of helping people, he just started filming the inside of the car and didn't call 911 until he was done. Yeah, that's normal. That's what happens in society these days. You got people knocking out old elderly people just to put that shit on media. It's just horrible. Nobody gives a shit. We're all dehumanized these days. Nothing. We don't really see each other as equals, which is funny that we have these huge movements and those people don't even see people as equals.